It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Friday, the 8th of November. I'm Michael Groff. Just another beautiful day in the valley. Temperatures once again well below seasonal averages. However, a warming trend does come in here for the weekend, and next week afternoon highs going once again above where they ought to be for this time of year by early and middle portions of next week. It'll be downright warm out there. All the while, conditions are expected to remain dry. But when might we start to see a pattern change emerging here out across the Southwest? We'll talk about that and everything else as we dive on in and discuss. But before we do that, it is Friday, and that means it's Photo Friday here. That's where we take a look at some of the photos and or videos that you guys have submitted. First up, from last Saturday night, David Parnell out at Moon Valley High School. Those fall sports are getting into their playoffs now. Semifinals in volleyball is what he was watching there. And yeah, just a gorgeous night for sports, any outdoor activities now in the evenings. In fact, the last couple evenings, it's been downright cool out there. Some people maybe need a light jacket. Why not? Hey, especially after the summer we've had, this kind of weather feels like an Arctic blast. Now, going international, the other side of the globe, down under is where we are here for, these are from Zane, from Brisbane, Australia. And of course, they're moving towards summer now. And this kind of a picture is what we might typically see during our monsoon season, or at least, you know, what we're supposed to see theoretically, hypothetically, what we would see in our monsoon, those clouds building up, some strong, even some severe storms. Brisbane had some hail, around an inch diameter or so. And according to Zane, there was even a water spout on the Brisbane River. So that's kind of interesting. And so about inch diameter hail. How about that for the land down under? Yes, they do get severe weather from time to time. And let's go to the other side of the coin. You know, summer weather on one hand, and here's wintry weather across parts of Montana. These are from Buck up in Helena, Montana, and they got their first real decent snow of the year up there. In fact, all throughout the Intermountain West, there's been plenty of snow the last several days. And Helena, Montana, yeah, they picked up some as well. You know, temperatures are cooling off here. They're getting quite cold up there as they're bracing for that long winter that you get in Montana, big sky country. So thank you to Buck, and thank you everyone for all of your photos and everything. You know, we can't do this segment without you. groffshow@gmail.com if you want to submit your photos or videos for Photo Friday. That's GROFF show@gmail.com for Photo Friday. Okay, let's get to it here. The Almanac from yesterday, and what an amazing day it was. 68 degrees the afternoon high, 48 the morning low. That's kind of almost felt like late December out there. Meanwhile, 81 and 57 are the averages for this time of year. As we look outside right now at 9:20 a.m., we've got sunny sky. We've got 54 degrees at Sky Harbor, but it's dry. Dew point's 23, humidity 30%. A light wind, and the barometer is rising. Temperatures out there as of 9 o'clock. Yes, we were generally in the 40s and 50s across the area. Of course, we'll warm back into the mid and upper 60s, maybe around 70 for the warmest locations here in the metro today. Satellite picture shows that area of low pressure that's brought the cool weather here, and a bunch of snow across New Mexico and Colorado, and even out in the western tip of Oklahoma, the far northwest Texas panhandle. They got hammered with snow. Well, that system is still out there. It's very, very sluggishly moving off to the east, and so we're on the back side of that. Heights are still below average, and cool air advection is still in place. So another day of below average temperatures for us, but of course very dry conditions in this part of the world. The watch warning map, blizzard warnings for parts of northeast New Mexico, some winter storm warnings for New Mexico, Colorado, flood watches over parts of Texas. Elsewhere, yeah, you've got those hurricane warnings over the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. That's in association with Rafael. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But first, I'll show you this, the convective outlook for today. Again, a risk of severe storms, parts of central and east Texas with that area of low pressure. An isolated tornado can't be ruled out there, and of course, strong gusty winds and hail, a possible culprit from the stronger storms too. And the tropics. We've got this little system near Hispaniola that may develop. There's about a 20% chance over the next 5 days or so that forms into a tropical depression or storm. I would say unlikely, but it's going to continue to drift to the north and west toward the Bahamas. We'll keep an eye on it. Meanwhile, We've got a hurricane in the Gulf. I mean, that's Rafael, and ordinarily we'd be pretty concerned about a hurricane moving into the central Gulf of Mexico, but this one, not so much. You can see the forecast track from the National Hurricane Center. This is just, the steering currents are going to collapse out here. That's what's going to happen with this, and it's just going to kind of meander around, sort of toilet bowl around out there in the middle of the Gulf, and eventually start to dissipate out over the western or southwestern Gulf of Mexico. And it's kind of interesting. The European model had been right all along in forecasting the evolution of this system. So, yeah, it's a powerful hurricane right now, but it will be weakening. And again, the waters out here, especially once you get toward the western Gulf, they're a little bit cooler, and the environment's just not very favorable. And with this system not moving much, a lot of upwelling will occur. So any warm water that's around, it's going to churn all that cooler water under the surface up, and that should help to weaken the system as well. All right, closer to home, the precipitation outlook valid through Friday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, nothing. Statewide, basically nothing. As again, the main storm track is going to stay a little bit further to the north of us. We may start to see a pattern change emerging as we go later into next week and the following weekend. We'll talk about that and everything else right now as we get to the models. Here we go, the GFS, the 06Z run. This is valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Well, there's Rafael in the Gulf. There's that area of low pressure across now moving into Texas. And for us, we're on the back side of that. The heights are going to slowly start to come up. But what it means for us down at the surface for the rest of the day today, sunny and just gorgeous. Another day with well below average temperatures. I'd say highs this afternoon, 66 to 70. Typically, we're around 80 degrees this time of year. So again, 10 to 14 degrees below average. That's nice. Tonight, with all that dry air around and clear sky, light winds, lows should once again drop into the upper 30s in the cool spots. We were around 40 here at Studio B. And of course, in the mid-city, mid to upper 40s are likely. And then tomorrow we'll start the warming trend, but sunny sky will prevail. High temperatures back toward the low and middle 70s. I'd say upper 70s, close to 80 on Sunday. Lots of sun, maybe a few high clouds around, but we'll still call it mostly sunny on Monday. For Veterans Day, high temperatures right around 80. Same deal Tuesday. Highs probably topping out in the upper 70s and low 80s. And really, it's the same thing on Wednesday. High temperatures probably somewhere in the low 80s. The sky sunny to mostly sunny. Again, a few passing clouds. And Thursday, high temperatures might be low to mid 80s here. Some of our guidance coming in with highs somewhere between about 81 to 85. So this may turn out to be the warmest day of the forecast period. Either way, it's going to be a little bit toasty here, especially compared to where we've been. This isn't ridiculously out of bounds for November, but certainly it is above average. Now, as we go to a week from today, this is Friday the 15th, and models do start to deviate as to what will happen here. At the moment, though, the GFS shows a mainly zonal flow here, so some high clouds at times, and temperatures at or just a little bit above average if this works out. Pretty impressive trough over the northeast. Another little wave coming into the Pacific Northwest, going out 10 days. This is Sunday the 17th, and the GFS has a trough, a very progressive trough, positively tilted trough, swinging through the southwest and then moving toward the plain states. That would bring a brief cool down and maybe a small chance of showers toward next weekend, but nothing significant if that is indeed the correct solution. Also, the GFS has another tropical system developing out there over the Caribbean. We'll worry about that when the time comes. But let's just, for the heck of it, let's take a look at the European. Specifically, this is the European AI, the AI model, which is a pretty impressive model. It does a pretty good job at forecasting here. It's got a nice track record of late. Well, it's got a very deep upper low developing here, sitting off the northern coast of Baja next weekend. And if this solution is correct, that would bring much more significant moisture in here and ultimately more unsettled weather, cooler weather as well. So we'd have to watch for the possibility of some rain. But this is out here at 10 days. Okay, this is, again, way out there toward next weekend, the 17th of November, maybe even creeping into the 18th. So obviously, this is in the realm of fantasy. We take all this stuff with a grain of salt. We just like to look at model trends. And the trend is Outside of the GFS, a lot of the models do want to indicate some degree of low pressure, some degree of troughing, or an upper low developing out here toward next weekend, and maybe some unsettled weather, but time will tell. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix off the GFS ensemble. This goes out through the 22nd of the month. The ensemble mean here about 1/10 of an inch. There are some members that show nothing. Some do have some light precip out there toward about 7 days and beyond. European slightly more bullish. Say slightly here. The ensemble means about 1/4 of an inch. There are, I would say the majority of members do indicate rain out at 10 days and beyond. But again, that's just a trend. And, whenever you look at these ensembles, especially out at 10 days and later, they skew toward climatology. So it's natural that they'd want to start introducing some precipitation as we get deeper into November and December. That's where we start to move toward winter storm season. So it's not completely uncommon for us to have precipitation at some point. And temperatures off the national blend of models, yes, the trend is up. We're going to warm up here as we go into the weekend, and next week highs will get up into the 80s, maybe mid-80s at some point. But then we'll see that downtrend as, again, models do indicate some cooler and potentially unsettled weather by the time we get toward that following weekend. So hopefully we can see the pattern change toward something. Now, we'd like this cool weather that we're getting now, but we'd like to see that associated with some rain also, as we do desperately need some rain here as drought conditions continue across much of Arizona. And that is going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here on Monday morning, but of course updates before that if necessary. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, and of course you do, then be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really like what we do here, then click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube and make those monetary contributions to us. Or you can donate directly via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is the PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Check out everything Michelle related linked up down in the description. And of course, check out something Michelle and Mike related. It's our streaming station. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music, have a lot of fun with that. It's linked up in the description, or you can just go to KMGX.com, and there's just a player right there, and just hit play and listen and enjoy. It's the most chaotic mix of music ever. There's something for everybody there. I guarantee you that. All right, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support. It is so greatly appreciated. Please be safe out there. Have yourselves a great Friday and a wonderful weekend.